Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
We're going to talk about Kathleen Kennedy and why the hell is she still there? She was supposed to be fired. Her email doesn't work anymore.
If there's ever a time that I actually thought it might be true, it was this time. Like other times I was like, yeah, no, she's going to leave. We have said since the beginning, if you follow our videos, that we think that they'll let her run her contract out. They won't push her out the door. They renewed her contract. They get rid of her probably after her contract ends again. We can't understand, short of blackmail material, why this woman still has a job. But they will not get rid of her for whatever reason. That being said, this time when the rumors were out after what happened with Indiana Jones, I thought maybe it might be true this time because Disney cannot afford to lose more money.
Yeah, in fact, this article is coming from Thinking Film, and they said that the box office is bad. It's really bad when they got beat by the Sound of Freedom, which they call a QAnon-tinged movie.
They keep running with that narrative, but it's not true. They keep doing this. Like these news outlets think that they keep repeating something over and over again. It makes it true. That's not how news works. That's not doing a journalism.
I love this. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny box office. Things are really bad when your branded mega budget spectacle falls behind cheapo stuff.
No, here's the thing. The cheapo stuff, as we pointed out in other videos, were what built the franchises that you now are like spending $300 million on.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars was done on the cheap, at the time it came out. A lot of the things that end up being big deals later started out being pretty inexpensive, things that just took off.
Oh, God.
What's a tragic gay star have to do with anything?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny that everybody's kind of pointing out, like, hey, this movie massively underperformed. So, yeah, I mean, what you're saying, like, if anything was going to get her fired, it would be like, okay, you've destroyed Star Wars. Willow was such a disaster that we purged it from Disney Plus.
A few months after.
Yeah, a couple of months, and we're shopping around someplace else because it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. It's not even worth it for us to keep Willow on Disney Plus. It failed so bad, and now you've destroyed Indiana Jones too.
If there was ever a case for a person to be gone, this would be the one time, because I'm like, okay, well, she still had Willow and Indiana Jones. They could argue that. But she's ruined all three. She's 3 for 3 at this point. No place in the world other than Kathleen Kennedy's job can somebody fail that fucking bad, cost us the studio this much money, this much reputation points, and still have a job. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah, so let's talk about this, because apparently there's a new rumor, not that she's getting fired, but that the reason she's not getting fired is nobody else wants the job.
It could be true. Because she's already fucked it up so bad. Would you want to go in there and try to clean that mess up?
No.
I don't know if there's any way to,
No.
to reverse it at this point.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can fix it.
You can't unfuck the pregnant lady. It just doesn't, there's a joke. No, you can't, but we're not going to.
You can?
The person
Well,
that did it cannot unfuck.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk. Oh my God. Let's talk about this. Before you get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
All right, let's wade back into the. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, she's been supposedly getting fired for the last 8 years now.
I know, she's been fired dozens of times at this point by certain people's accounts.
Yeah, so this is coming from Cosmic Book News, who says there's another wrinkle to it. Apparently, Bounding in the Comics ran with his tweet before he had a chance to.
We know what that's like. Not necessarily Bounding to Comics.
We've had people do that. Yeah, we've tweeted something just offhandedly, and then somebody else would be like, I'm making a video about it, but I'm going to step right over you. And
that happens all the time.
Yeah, right. So he said, Cosmic Book News, this is Matt McGloin. Matt McGloin said, I had a lengthy conversation last night about a range of topics with my Hollywood buddies as we were prepping for Comic-Con next week. Each year at San Diego, we all get together and hang out. Okay. So some previous scoops that have been proven true. So there's a track record. Stan Lee, DC Comics Project. Dwayne Johnson wanted to take over DC Films. The special effects surrounding The Flash were bad. Regarding Star Wars, we are all like-minded fans and can't begin to understand how and why Star Wars has been so bad and why they would actually do what they did to the IP.
Yeah, same here.
My friends were also deeply troubled by what happened with Indiana Jones 5. So I questioned.
My friends grew up with Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford. Yeah, same
everybody.
Here.
Yeah,
Same here.
Everybody's like, "What were you thinking?" So I questioned my friends about the rumors surrounding that Kathleen Kennedy will be fired from Disney. I was told she is likely not fired. So he puts his tweet in there because everybody else runs with it before, Again, we know how that is. The conversation we had is similar to past things said about Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. No one wants the job. I'm told things are such a mess at Lucasfilm that no one wants to take over.
Exactly, because when it's so a mess, then you're going to be expected to fix it. And I don't know if you can fix it at this point. It's been so badly damaged. Then you have Iger saying, well, we have too much. Well, then how is somebody supposed to fix things if there's too much of it and you think there's too much and we got to slow it down? Then there's no way anybody can fix anything.
That's just it. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, other than decanonizing the sequel trilogy, and you don't get a do-over. We've lost Carrie Fisher. Mark Hamill is up there. Harrison Ford is 80 years old. You don't get a do-over. You've already effed it up. We've got Dave Filoni out there making live-action versions of his OCs from the cartoon shows.
That's Ahsoka is just live-action. Rebels 2.0. And
I can't see Disney being as arrogant as they are. I can't see them being like, we made a huge mistake. They're already
doubling down. We're gonna do new movies, and it's gonna be Rey. They're already doubling down on the mistake already.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there is any way to fix it. I really don't. I mean, I was thinking about this, and I'm like, what would you do if you fired Kathleen Kennedy tomorrow? One, how many years would it take to actually course correct? And two, there's been so much damage done to this franchise. I don't think you can course correct. It's not like the EU where it was all like books and comics and video games. You could just say, hey, yep, hand wave them and say, yeah, they didn't happen. We're talking.
They did, but now they're trying to pull from.
Yeah, now they're going back to that well. But you've made movies and TV shows in a freaking theme park based on this version of Star Wars. I don't think you can just hit the reset button.
And you can't argue that it was just it's because the one thing did bad. Like you said, when you based your theme park and hotel and everything on this version of Star Wars and it does bad across the board, you can't just say the vocal minority of man, baby, bigot incels hate Rey because they're misogynist when the majority of people aren't liking your shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what you do. I mean, so do I think that there might be some truth to this? Possibly.
Yeah, because I mean, you've been in situations where they brought you in to fix things, and then they got rid. And then that's something else. You have to understand too that oftentimes they bring somebody in to fix it. They'll fix it, and then they'll suddenly put their buddy in to take charge of it again, which has happened to Neon multiple times.
It has, and if I were an underling or something, I'd be like, yeah. I mean, if they get rid of her, how long until they get rid of me? Or am I just the cleanup crew? Are they going to bring me in for a couple of years to try to clean up the mess?
Whoever they bring in, like they weren't making Kathleen Kennedy responsible for jack shit. So now all the responsibility that Kathleen Kennedy didn't get, it goes on to the next person, and they're going to be mandated to hit certain metrics that might be impossible to hit, while she just got to never have any accountability whatsoever.
Or there are projects in the pipeline that were already greenlit, and then they come out, and you have to take the brunt of that.
That's canceling. You're the one who has to take all the shit.
Yeah. The Acolyte was horrible, and the High Republic was horrible, and it's all your fault because you're in charge now. It's like, yeah, I just started 2 weeks ago. This shit's been in the pipeline for like 3 years.
And if I had been here, it never would have gotten greenlit. Kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Disney had so many opportunities to course correct, and fans were telling them this is not the way, and people were telling them, just in general, the general public and their response to things. Like when you saw the decline after The Force Awakens, when Last Jedi hit, you should have known that, okay, this is bad. And they did, which is why they did The Rise of Skywalker, what they did. But at that point, it was too late. And then you had your people out there actively harassing fans, and then you get Obi-Wan, you change it to being about Leia, and immediately before the show comes out, everybody's a racist because they don't like Reva. You did your own damage. Story group, I blame you a lot.
Story group should have been terminated after.
When you have a whiteboard at your meeting about the High Republic and diversity and dinosaurs are above good story, you have a fucking problem.
Yes. Story group is a huge problem. I mean, you can see the decline in the numbers, and the reason that everybody goes after YouTubers so hard is they point these things out. Star Wars is not selling. Nobody's watching the YouTube. Yeah, nobody's watching the YouTube channel. Nobody's booking the Galactic Star Cruiser. Nobody's going to the movies. Nobody's watching these shows. Everybody, nobody's backing the Reva lightsaber on HasLab. Nobody wants this shit. And they point out the obvious. And I have to think that the bean counters at Disney are like, yeah, they're right. And it's like, no, they're just the alt-right Nazis.
Crazy thought. When you have like the Reva lightsaber and no one's backing it, besides the fact that it's too fucking expensive.
Yeah, it was too expensive. Yeah.
You might want to think, wow, we're trying to put this stuff out and no one's buying this toy, or no one's buying, no one's coming to this movie or whatever. Maybe the problem's you. You know, here's a thought. Maybe it's not just because everybody's a bigot. Maybe it's because you're making the wrong choices. But for whatever reason, Kathleen Kennedy's there. So I can believe someone doesn't want the job. But I don't think they're going to have to find somebody to take the job that they think can do it, because Kathleen Kennedy is not the way. She is terrible. But then again, what else can she fuck up? She's already fucked it all.
Kathy does the galaxy.
I'm just like, she can't really make it worse. Already in the it's already like terrible.
That's the thing. Star Wars is in such a place right now that the only way you actually could fix it, is to decanonize a lot of the sequel trilogy stuff and basically hit the reset button.
Go do Heir of the Empire, Dark Force Rising, Last Command, the books. But how are you going to do that now? Because
everybody's too old.
You
know, and I think my personal opinion is, you know, Star Wars had its day, and I think that the brand is forever damaged. I don't think it's ever, because it was never meant to be like Star Trek. There's been so much Star Trek, and Star Trek has always been a TV show, and there's always been a lot of Star Trek. They can fix Star Trek easier than they can fix Star Wars. Star Wars was always an event. It was always special. And now it's not. Now it's actually below Star Trek in the pecking order for a lot of people, because it's just...
Yeah, no, that's not okay. But anyway, it's like they did it to themselves. But I completely believe that no one else wants the job.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. But if I were Disney, I don't care. You need to get rid of her. You need to find somebody to take over that you can trust.
I think what's going to happen, and this is kind of a side tangent, and I've been thinking a lot about this lately, is I think at some point you have to walk away from these IPs, especially if the IP has been sold to some corporation and the original creators are no longer involved. You have to look at all of that as being apocrypha. And I think what is going to happen is we're going to have a lot of new media that was inspired by stuff like Star Wars, stuff like Indiana Jones.
It's going to surpass it, yeah.
It's going to surpass it. And that's what we actually need. We need a spiritual successor. And they were doing this in video games too. Like the guys that did Castlevania, the team that did Castlevania is no longer working for Konami. They're doing Bloodstained, you know, which is very similar to Castlevania. It's basically them continuing what they were going to do, but under a different name. And I think we're going to see that with
I think
this.
too, if you really, like, if you love what you love, like Star Wars, if you're classic Star Wars, love classic Star Wars, go read the books. If you want more Star Wars and you haven't read the books, go read the books. A lot of the books are very, very, very good. That's what you wanted and you didn't get. Go support the things you like. Just turn your back on the things you don't, because money talks, and apparently they didn't listen. I mean, when things kept dropping off a cliff and the viewership kept going down, and then everything has something that was good, like Mandalorian. Then, you know, Boba Fett's back, yay! And then they had to go. I mean, I can't understand. You had to try to fuck up Star Wars. It's like a concerted effort at this point.
People were pissed off about the sequels, but you were winning them back with the Mandalorian, and you still fucked that up with the Gina Carano controversy. Yeah. And then with the drama, you know, where Pablo Hidalgo is out there attacking Star Wars theory because he was so happy that proper Luke Skywalker was back. He was crying.
Which was the result they wanted.
Yeah, so they fucked that up. And then season 3, which is a freaking disaster. Lizzo, I think, got nominated for an Emmy or something.
For that?
I think. I don't know.
So we're not basing on talent anymore.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
Lizzo's, you know. I mean, and the thing is,
Lizzo,
I like the fact that she was a huge Star Wars fan and she always watched with her dad. I relate to that. And for that, I absolutely, 2 thumbs up. And those are just making fun of her for her weight, I think, are assholes. And that's not unnecessary. But sometimes singers aren't actors.
Yeah, more often than not.
And I feel for why she's so excited, and I am excited for her in that regard, because I relate. Sometimes singers aren't actors. And sometimes Jack Black being Jack Black and everything isn't a good thing.
Yeah, remember Sting and Dune?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, are we gonna wrap that?
Yes.
Wrap this up? I think we need to. I don't know what else to say. Like, even if she gets gone,
we already said it all. It doesn't matter. They come back with something else.
The damage is done.
She's either out or she isn't.
She's out or she isn't. Even if she's out, there's no fixing this.
It's hot or it's cold. It's yes or it's no. Yeah. We don't know what's gonna happen. Frankly, she's either out or she isn't out. So somebody either way is gonna be like, I told you so.
Either way, yeah. Yep.
Eventually, it's like clock eventually was right twice a day. So eventually it's gonna come true. She's actually gonna leave. People are like, I told you she was out when I told you 8 years ago.
In 2027, Yeah, when she's
So her contract's up 2024,
when
but
when they shut down. Well, she'll get an extension. When they shut down Lucasfilm completely, when
I
they,
honestly thought at this point with the Indiana Jones, she would be out because this is like
George Lucas buys the company back for $1 at age 94. That's when Kathleen
right?
Kennedy retires.
Anyway,
All right,
let's wrap this up.
we're gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.